It's the morning of day 3, and a fella did come along last night and share the shelter, which was real nice. And Mom started out for today. Got about 14.6 miles to do today. A lot of it downhill, so I should be able to do that. We'll see. Plans change as you go. Came across a neat little bridge to cross here over a creek. Well, I'm here at Lemon Gap. In just under 2 hours, 3.6 miles. Granted, mostly downhill, but pretty good brisk walk. And that was real good. Now, up for the next 1.3 miles, up only about 800 feet, and there's a shelter there, and I'm going to stop there for lunch. There's a water source halfway between here and there to fill up. It doesn't look like there's any reliable water at the shelter according to the map, so I'll load up on water there. I might eat a little snacks here. Let's see, got some Planters peanuts here. Ooh, trail mix. Eat a little of that here for energy, and then bust up there and do lunch up at that shelter, and then head on to the next shelter where I'm going to go for the day. So altogether today, I think it's a 14.6 mile day, which is a lot for me, but largely flattered downhill for the most part. So should be okay. But beautiful day and nice day to be walking. Okay, so that's about 5 miles in 3.5 hours. It's not bad for me. Just came down off this little grassy knob up top, and I'm heading down to a little shelter. I'm going to take lunch, and just thought the approach to the shelter was something neat to share with you. I like when you're walking along and then all of a sudden you just come on one of these shelters. It always reminds me of kind of back in settler days when people were way off miles from each other and would live in little cabin homesteads with whole families in one room and by hand clear and farm these areas tens of miles, hundreds of miles away from everything else. Pretty cool. Here's the shelter. And it is most definitely lunchtime. Well, I am so glad I did not go on the last 10 miles today. I had a feeling it might start raining, and it did. It really downpoured. And just looking at the sky, a lot of black clouds. Looks like it might go on for a while. So I did have a chance to gather a bunch of firewood up and get it in dry before the rain started. I borrowed some stones and put them right up underneath the cover here. So I might be able to get a little bit of fire going, which will help to dry out the air a little bit inside the shelter. I'm catching some rainwater in my cup here. There is no water source here, but I have a lot of water to get through the night, like 2 liters, so I'm not worried about that. And out there, that thing on the table is a clear plastic pencil bag in which is my solar lantern that I'm trying to get a little more charge out of, see if it'll get me into the night. A bit more firewood, and then inside the shelter here, I got my shirt hanging up because I got wet. My pack and everything is still in here. I am going to have to go outside to hang my food bag, though. But it's rather nice inside. There is a leak, however, right in the middle of the shelter. So it'll be interesting to see whether I can divert that with a piece of string to get it to go drain down into one of the cracks in the floor rather than running out. And unfortunately, it's right smack in the middle of the shelter. So I might not be able to divert it. Well, the rain has let up a little bit since the last video about 2 hours ago. I was able to get a bunch done. I had my light on now. You can see inside the shelter. Still dripping in the middle there, but I'm going to sleep over on this side. I boiled the water for my dinner. My lasagna dinner there is just about ready. I also whittled down a whole bunch of wood to the dry wood inside. So I've got enough kindling there to get it going. And I've got enough wood there ready, and a bunch of wood out here ready to go for my little under the cover fire pit. So as soon as it's dark, I'm going to light my fire. Right now I'm going to eat my dinner, and hopefully I can get my food bag hung up there in the tree before dark. But this rain's still coming. I can see off in the horizon here to the west that it's going to be raining for quite a while yet. There's a lot of rain clouds to come, and I just heard some thunder in that distance. So I'm going to hunker down here though in the next couple hours and get some sleep. Get up very early in the morning. I've got about 14 miles tomorrow to get to Hot Springs. So I'm just trying to get some maintenance done around here. I'm going to wash and disinfect my hands. That roof water that I got, I boiled that also. It's cooling right now. So I'm going to scrub this down and rebandage it. Also, once the fire gets going, I'm going to dry my clothes out here. And I ought to be able to get all that done by dark. And then get the fire going, be able to go to sleep, and get a good night's sleep tonight. Looking forward to walking into Hot Springs, North Carolina tomorrow, probably around 6 o'clock or so. Well, the rain has stopped, so I hiked back up to the little grassy mountaintop here. I guess this is Walnut Mountain, and just looking how pretty it is with the fog rolling in, and still some rain clouds, but some blue skies now. And maybe it will dry out tonight. Pretty cool tree here. I don't know what it is. They look like little apples are growing on it, but I don't know. I was relieved to see that it wasn't all clawed up by bear claws. So either the bears don't like them, or there's not a lot of bears around this section right here. But there's one right there. They're pretty small. Not sure what that is, but this is a real pretty spot. Looking west, you can kind of see from the fog some of the mountains that I've come over. If that's west, here's north, and I'm actually hiking south right now because the trail takes a big detour and heads south for a while down into Hot Springs. I also thought I could bring my solar lantern up here and get a little more direct sunlight on it for a while, and maybe that'll help to get through the night with it. I'm all bandaged up and clean and dry, and had a good dinner, got a lot of chores done, got lots of firewood, not enough to make it through the night, but enough to keep it light and get some smoke going to keep the bugs away. Once it gets dark, I'll light it, and then once that burns out, I'll light my lantern, and that may give me kind of a night light through the night, which would be nice, because I'm not crazy about sleeping in shelters alone. I know I've mentioned that, but there's a good chance now at 6 p.m. that someone's not going to come along. So I'm going to set my alarm for about 6 a.m. and get up real early and hit the trail. But this is certainly a beautiful day and a beautiful ending to the day. All right, this is the ending of day 3. I've got my bed all made up here. Got my phone charged, and I'm going to listen to some music and fall asleep. Quite a nice little shelter, actually. I haven't seen any rodents or any evidence of them at all. I've got my fire going outside and some extra firewood, and here across the door, it's a small door, maybe 8 feet. I've done some crisscross, some big woods here, so in case a bear should decide to come in during the night, it's bound to knock it over and wake me up. Maybe, maybe not. And then my solar lantern is hanging out here. Don't know how long that's going to be good for, but it'll certainly be good for a little while. And I'm going to go ahead and lay down now and try to get some sleep. It's 9 o'clock, so it's hiker midnight, getting up at 6 o'clock. So certainly been an interesting ending to the day. But I think I'm in a good position here to get some sleep now.